Hey everyone, I'm going to check out the new Champions League Player of the Week selection on eFootball. I've already reviewed the regular worldwide Player of the Week selection. That video is live on the channel if you want to check it out. For this pack, as always, I'll put timestamps in the description for each player. So when you hear about particular players, click the description. There'll be a link to take you straight to them. So, what have we got in here? We've got a couple of 4 stars. Let's start with the lowest rated. We've got Nicolas Kühn from Celtic. So this is the first feature version we've had of Kühn. He does not have a face scan yet. I imagine he may well get one at some point. No change to the positions or the playing style. What they've really done with this guy, they have taken away about 8 off his speed. If you look at his GP card with auto allocation, 8 points lost off his speed, 4 off his acceleration. So we've had a big nerf to his pace for some reason. He's lost a couple of his balance. He's lost about 5 off his attacking awareness as well. Very, very weird, but where they boosted him on the ball, they boosted his passing, they boosted his finishing, and his kicking powers up a bit as well. So yeah, a few weird attribute, nerfings there, but we've had an increase in some areas as well. On the whole, he kind of looks all right, to be honest. The attacking awareness is what jumps out to me. 71 attacking awareness is horrible. He is reasonable on the ball. The finishing is decent as well. Passing sucks. I have boosted it, but be very careful with this guy's passing. If you're going to use this guy, don't ask too much from with his passing. Does he have any passing skills? No. So what have they done skill-wise? Everything is new except for double touch and track back. So got loads of new skills here. Double touch, flip flap, soul control. You got your ball roll, double touch if you like that sort of thing. Long range curl and long range shooting, first time shot. So as a left footer coming off the right wing, some very good shooting skills, and he's got 81 for finishing as well, so he's going to have a decent shot on him. Outside curl is nice as well, but yeah, no passing skills, so be very careful with his passing. But with the finishing, he should be very capable of taking chances coming off that right flank. So reasonable on the ball, reasonable pace. Kicking power and balance I'd like to be higher. They're not disastrously bad, but they're a bit on the low side. This is a 4-star card, but yeah, I think that's the thing at the end of the day. You are very much looking at a 4-star card. It's not a brilliant one. The passing and the attacking were the 2 big weaknesses for me. As I mentioned just now, I'd like a bit more kicking power and balance, but he's got a bit of pace. He's all right on the ball. He certainly can finish as a winger coming off that right flank. He's got centre forward as a position, but as much as 8-1 finishing isn't disastrously bad, 71 attacking awareness is for a striker, so there's no way I play this guy as a striker, but coming off that right flank, he could certainly get a goal or 2 for you. He's not the worst card in the world, but there are 1 or 2 weaknesses there, and it is very much a 4-star. So, yeah, I imagine Celtic fans would be very excited to get this card, but outside of that, it's not a brilliant one. For a 4-star, it's not too bad, but as I always say, there's no relevance to these star ratings because there's no matchmaking filters, there are no special events. It means nothing, the star rating. It's basically a 90 rated winger, which means he's not great, and he's not, but he could be worse, I guess. And now we have Yann Aurel Bisseck, so a young centre-back from Inter. Normally an extra front man, they've made him a destroyer. We've had a couple of Player of the Week cards of his. He's a little bit less physical than the previous 2 Player of the Week cards, but he's a bit better otherwise on the whole. There was one trainable version of Bisseck in either a Legend or Showtime pack. There's not a huge difference overall, to be honest. There's a bit less pace on that one, but it was a bit better elsewhere with the defending, for example, but you can train that card. You compare this card to his GP card. The main boost really is the speed, acceleration, and stamina. That's pretty much the main difference. On the whole, decent little boost, nothing spectacular. It's not an amazing card. He's very tall, about what's that, 6'5" or so. 78 jumping though. He does have aerial superiority, so yeah, he's got poor jumping, good height, aerial superiority. On the whole, he's going to be decent in the end, not amazing. He's not got the greatest leap on him, but in terms of what they've changed skills though, some nice additions. Interception, which he doesn't normally have. Fighting spirit down there. Aerial superiority, that's new actually. They've added aerial superiority and sliding tackle as well. So he's got a good selection of skills for a centre back. Heading and aerial, and then we've got man marking, interception, blocker, sliding tackle. Just acrobatic clearance is the one he's really missing. That's not a massive loss though. So he's got a good selection of skills. Long range shooting, not sure that's ever going to come in handy with him. Long throw likewise, but yeah, good selection of defensive skills there for a centre back. And in terms of the attributes, he's kind of just all right. I don't think this is a terrible card, but again, it's a 4-star. It's pretty much what you'd expect. All the defensive attributes, the core defensive attributes are kind of okay-ish, but just not brilliant. He's got decent pace for a centre-back. I mentioned he's going to be all right in the air, not amazing. Physical contact's okay at 85. I always say it though, that's a very important attribute on centre-backs. I'd like a bit more, so yeah, there's no glaring weakness with this guy, to be honest. Skills pretty good, attributes kind of okay. There's no real glaring weakness, but it's not an amazing card. Could be one if you pick it up, and if you don't have too many good centre-backs from Serie A, when that Serie A challenge pops up, could be a useful one to have in case he has form in any given week. It's certainly not a terrible card by any means, so it could be a useful one to have as a centre-back option for that challenge. But outside of that, not bad card, no glaring weaknesses there, but just not an amazing one. It's very much a 4-star card. You could do a lot worse than this card, I guess. Now we've got Djimsiti from Atalanta. So again, normally an extra front man, made him a destroyer, same as Bisseck. It's the first time I've had a feature version of him. And the main difference with this guy is that he's had about 10 added to his speed compared to his GP card with auto allocation. So he's had a pretty big boost to his speed, nice boost to his stamina. They always seem to put a big boost on stamina for player of the week centre backs. And he had about 5 added to his low and lofted pass as well, so that's nice, I guess. Yeah, on the whole, fairly solid centre back. Again, like with Bisseck, I'm not seeing any glaring weaknesses there. Just kind of looks all right, not brilliant. This is a 5-star, but again, the stars mean nothing. He's only slightly higher rated than Bisseck. He's pretty much the same overall, really. There's not a lot of difference. He's not quite got the height of Bisseck. Skill-wise, what we got. So they've added heading. They've added weighted pass, and they've added interception as a big addition. So heading and aerial superiority, and then on the ground, man marking, interception, blocker, sliding tackle, accurate clearance, fighting spirit, weighted pass, a nice bonus. So yeah, again, a pretty complete selection of skills for a centre back. Does he have fighting spirit? Yeah, he's got fighting spirit. So yeah, pretty complete selection of skills for a centre back. The defences are reasonable. Certainly awareness and tackling are going to get past the 90 mark with a maximum game plan boost, which is good. He's not got the best acceleration, but it's not too bad. He's certainly got decent speed with the boost they've given him compared to his GP card. Physically strong, jumping's not brilliant. So again, he's not going to be bad in the air. He's 6'3", he's got aerial, but not brilliant jumping. So he'll be okay in the air, but not brilliant. Yeah, and just on the whole, it's a fairly solid centre back. And again, just like Bisseck, I think ultimately this is a card where I think most of us who've been playing the game for a while have probably got better centre back options. So if you're doing divisions and so on, he's probably not going to get anywhere near your team, but for the Italian League Challenge when that pops up, could be a solid option to keep hold of in case he has form. And if you're new to the game as well, could be a very, very useful centre-back option. So yeah, not an amazing card, but for some people could be a useful one. It's not a bad one, but yeah, it's nothing to get excited about either. Next up is Hans Vanaken. So I watched the game he played in. It was 1-0 to Club Brugge against Villa. He scored the penalty, and I didn't think he really did a great deal else apart from that. He didn't play badly, but I'm not sure he was exactly that great. But yeah, he scored the winning goal, so I guess that's enough to get him in Player of the Week. He's a big dude, 195 centimeters. This guy's an attacking midfielder, and he's about 6'5", one of the tallest attacking midfielders you're going to see. He's normally a whole player. They made him a creative playmaker. There was actually one trainable version of this guy. I'm not sure what pack that came from. This one is better than that one, though. So this is the best version of Vanaken that we've had in the game. What have they done to him compared to his GP card? They have given him a bit of a boost on his pace, jumping, physical contact, heading. So he's a bit better in the air. Defenses have had a bit of a boost. His low pass is up a bit. That's nice. So that's going to get to at least 90 with your game plan boost. But a decent enough manager. His finishing's up a bit as well. A little bit worse on the ball than he normally is, though. So an attacking midfielder, creative playmaker, worse on the ball than he normally is. That doesn't make sense, but whatever, I guess. At least your ball control's hitting 90 with your game plan boost, though. So ball control, low pass, both hitting 90. You can see the type of player he is. He's not going to be a dribbler by any means. He's not got the pace or the mobility, but technically tidy. You can get him on the ball. He can pick a pass, as you'll see here. He's got one-touch pass and through passing. What else we've got? Outside cutters, nice. Got first-time shot, rising shot, long-range cutter. So some shooting and passing skills there. He's already got aerial superiority. He doesn't have heading. Heading attributes kind of okay. So he's not going to be amazing with his headers, but and 68 jumping as well. So again, you've got a tall guy, but he's not got the best jumping. So with aerial superiority, all things considered, he'll be all right. He'll be good in the air for an attacking midfielder, but in general, not amazing in the air. But the changes they've made skill-wise, they're not changed much. So we've lost weighted pass, and they've replaced it with penalty specialist. I would have preferred if they hadn't bothered, to be honest. I don't think penalty specialist is that important. Weighted pass is a nice one though, so we've lost a nice skill there, but he does still have one-touch pass and through passing. So the passing and shooting skills there, his passing and finishing attributes are good for an attacking midfielder. Tidy enough on the ball, albeit not going to be great with dribbling. Good attacking awareness. Just a bit slow, a bit cumbersome, as you'd expect from a guy who's very tall, 6'5". He's not going to feel brilliant on the ball, but if you don't mind that, and a lot of people don't mind that, then this guy's got good technical ability. He could be useful, and he's certainly a bit different with the height that he's got. Shame he's not got the whole player playing style he normally does, because an attacking midfielder will occasionally make those runs into the box when you're putting balls into the box, and could get the end of crosses. And with his height, the fact he's got aerial superiority, it could have been quite useful for that, but I don't see him getting into those positions too often, apart from set pieces. But yeah, two-footed, unwavering form, technically very sound, very capable of scoring and creating goals for you. It's not an amazing card. He's clearly not the quickest or the most mobile or much of a dribbler, so there's a few negatives with this guy, but I think all things considered, he's certainly a slightly different option to most of the attacking midfielders that most of us have got in our squads, so he could be a useful one to pick up. I think some people could quite like him. Other people might really not like him because of the weaknesses with the mobility and so on, but he's certainly a little bit different, and it's not a bad card on the whole. And now we have Malik Tillman, who is now a box-to-box. So he's usually a whole player. They've made him a box-to-box on this card. They've added centre midfield as a position. And again, one of these Player of the Week cards where they've added a semi-proficient position, which is DMF. And we can't position train these cards, so that's completely useless. Thanks for that, Konami. We've had one feature version of this card before. That was a Player of the Week card. That was with his regular whole player playing style. That one had a bit more pace, but this one's technically a bit better. I think that was a left midfield as well. This guy just plays pretty much anywhere through the middle, centre midfield right up to centre forward. What have they done to him compared to his GP card? They've taken one off dribbling compared to his auto-allocated GP card. Don't know why they'd bother doing that. His 3 physicals, heading, jumping, physical contact, they've had a bit of a boost. Defending has had a bit of a boost as well. And otherwise, most of his attributes seem to have just been boosted by a few, really. So it's a kind of decent boost across the board. What have we got skill-wise? They've given him pinpoint crossing. Have they given him long throw? Fantastic. Interception. Okay, so if you're going to play him centre midfield especially, that's a very good addition, interception. We've got one-touch pass. We've not got through passing. So there's a big loss. He's very much an attack-minded centre midfielder. Even if they change him from whole player to box and moved, giving him centre midfield as a position, he's still going to be very much an attack-minded midfielder. So through passing is a big miss. Shame we've not got that. First time shot's nice. Heel trick. Pinpoint crossing, is he going to be out wide very often? No. Yeah, on the whole, I don't know. It's an all-right card. He's got some qualities there. He can be tidy enough on the ball, again, without being too much of a dribbler. His passing, without through passing, is not going to be brilliant. Attacking awareness 80 is good for any kind of midfielder. Finishing 77 could be worse. I mean, I wouldn't use him as a centre forward. Not a chance. He's not got the awareness or finishing for that. As an SS, is he good enough attack? In attack, has he got through passing? No. So I'm not sure about SS. I'm not sure where this guy's going to be particularly good, to be honest. Nothing really jumps out as being great. Sure, the ball control is going to hit 90 with the game plan boost, but nothing else is. There's a bunch of attributes that are kind of okay. He's got some good skills, but again, through pass is a big miss. First time shot's good, but there's no long range shooting or long range curler either. So he's got some qualities, but I think the playing style is probably a downgrade considering he's very much an attack-minded midfielder. And there's just not enough quality about this guy really for me to be, for me to really consider it a particularly good card. So yeah, he does have a few qualities, but on the whole, I don't think this guy's really got enough about him to make him a particularly good card. It's not a great one for me. And this is one I think a lot of people have been hoping for. So we've got a Player of the Week Gyökeres card. We've had him once before in Player of the Week, wasn't too long ago, and that was a pretty similar card on the whole. This one's slightly better at dribbling than that one. It's a bit better in the air, especially with aerial superiority. We'll see the skills in a second. Got a bit less balance than that previous one though, but I think on the whole, even though the overall maximum rating is about the same, I'd say this one's slightly better than the previous one. We've had one trainable version of him as well. That was in one of those legend boxes. That is a bit better and it's trainable as well. But this one, like I say, I think slightly better than the previous Player of the Week, and it's a decent card, but it's not amazing. I I think you could argue the case that they've done him dirty a little bit. I mean, when he does well in the Portuguese league, certainly that previous Player of the Week one, you can kind of understand them not making him too great, because with all due respect to the Portuguese league, the quality of the opposition isn't quite the same as, you know, the Premier League and the top leagues in Europe. But with this one, he got a hat-trick against Man City, one of the best teams in the world. This is barely a 5-star card, so I think they have done him a little bit dirty with this card. He could have been a bit better. Compared to his GP card, if you auto-allocate his GP card, we're 1 lower on acceleration. We've lost about 6 off balance. We've lost a few points of attacking awareness as well. If someone makes sense of this to me, because I don't understand. But where they boosted him, a bit better on the ball. Jumping's a bit better. Yeah, that's pretty much about it, really. It's a decent enough boost on the whole, but like I say, taking a bunch off his balance and a few off his attacking awareness, like, how does that make any kind of sense when he's just scored a hat-trick against one of the best teams in the world? It's just, I'm trying not to rant about this, but yeah, I don't understand it. But it is a decent card. Like I say, it's not a bad card. He's a goal poacher. I always say I would like a bit more pace on the goal poacher. It could be worse. He's not overly slow, but he's just not that quick either. Decent kicking power there. Physical contact is good. That's going over 90 with the game plan boost. On the ball for a goal poacher, decent, certainly with the dribbling in the 80s before your game plan boost, and the ball control is going to go over 80 as well. Passing's not great. Be careful with your passing. Don't ask too much of him. Finishing 86. I mean, 84 awareness, 86 finishing. You can get away with it, but it's not brilliant. On a 5-star centre forward, I do ask for more. So, yeah, I think that was both the awareness and finishing a little bit on the low side. How good is he going to be in the air? Because he is a bit better in the air than he's been previously. The physical contact is great. That is a big factor in winning headers, but jumping only 80. What is he, 6'1" and a bit? Jumping 80, heading 75. He does have aerial superiority, so they've added that. He's already got acrobatic finishing and he's got heading, so he should be all right in the air, not brilliant. And then on the ground, long range curler, rising shot, first time shot, outside curls, a nice one to have. He's got a fighting spirit as well. He's got a good selection of skills for a centre forward, to be honest. So on the air and on the ground, a good selection of skills. It's just the attributes are kind of decent but not amazing. So yeah, like I said, I think a lot of people probably would have hoped for a bit more from this Gyökeres card, but he's all right. I just can't say a great deal more beyond that. You know, you got your unwavering form, you got good skills. A lot of the attributes are decent. It's just there's not a lot here that's really anything beyond decent. So yeah, it's a decent card. I think fans of this guy will be pleased to have at least a decent card of his. But that previous trainable one was a bit better, and I fully expect there will be better ones in the future as well. Whether he stays at Sporting or whether he makes a big move at some point in the near future. So yeah, it's a decent card, but it could have been better. It's certainly not a bad one to pick up, but I think a lot of people probably feel it could have been better. And now our first booster of this pack, and this is a very interesting card. So we've got Luis Díaz from Liverpool, and he is a goal poacher centre forward. So they've added centre forward as a position, they've made him a goal poacher. He is a booster, like I say. Let's just boost him straight away. So with the boost, as you can see, this is a really interesting looking card. Goal poacher centre forward. You're looking at awareness. Is that any good? 88 is going past 90 with the game plan boost. Finishing's hitting 90 with the game plan boost. On the ball, all three of these attributes are going to hit 90 with the game plan boost. I was expecting if they made a centre forward card of Díaz that they might have nerfed him a bit on the ball, but he's looking good. All three of those 90 plus for a centre forward. Very nice indeed. Likewise, speed and acceleration both going over 90 with the game plan boost. This is a goal poacher. This card looks really nice. I would like a bit more balance, but I think bearing in mind how good a lot of these other attributes are, I don't think you can have it all. This card looks very nice to me. So comparing it to previous versions of Luis Díaz, we've had, I think, 4 Player of the Week cards, and they tend to have a bit more pace, but I think this one on the whole is better. Even left wing, you could argue it's better, especially with the A-form boost. He's got the awareness and the finishing over previous versions. Physical contact as well is up a bit higher than it tends to be with Luis Díaz. Looking at previous trainable versions of Luis Díaz, they tend to have a bit more pace and on-the-ball ability because they're obviously, left wingers, they tend to be. But overall, this one is comparable, and of course, it is a centre forward. You can train the previous trainable versions of Luis Díaz as a centre forward, but I don't think you can really get the attributes as good as these in terms of especially the awareness and the physical and finishing. Sorry. So yeah, if you want a version of Luis Díaz to play up front, or just in general, this is a good card. This looks like a really good card. Let's look at what they've done with the skills. So we've lost Marseille turn, sombrero, and gamesmanship. And they've given him chip shot control, of course, for one of those goals that he scored. First time shot, crucial for a centre forward, and one touch pass, nice. So still got a few skill moves there. You've got your soul control. And then in terms of taking shots as a centre forward, first time shot, chip shot control, lack of rack finishing, got one touch pass, pinpoint crossing. I'm not sure how important that is really. Outside curl is nice though. Would be nice if they're giving him heading, but you can't have it all. This is a card where you can see what he's good at with the pace, the awareness, the finishing, getting him behind the defence. And then when he gets on the ball, you don't just have to get your shots away. You can actually get him on the ball and do things with him. You can dribble with him as a centre forward, as a goal poacher. It's not often you find a centre forward goal poacher as good on the ball as this card. So yeah, I would like a bit more balance on him, but I think that's being a bit greedy, to be honest, because the rest of these attributes on Luis Díaz, you know, decent kicking power, the pace, awareness, finishing, great on the ball. Not brilliant at passing, but he's got one touch pass. It could be worse. This for me is a really good version of Luis Díaz on the whole, but as a centre forward, just forgetting who it is, just looking at this as a centre forward goal poacher card, I think this is a really nice looking card. And even as someone who doesn't particularly like Liverpool, I'd be pretty pleased if I got this card. I think this is a really good one. It's one of the better Player of the Week cards that we've seen in quite a while. And straight to our second booster, we got Yann Oblak. So we have a good goalkeeper here. We've had a previous Player of the Week version of Oblak. The thing with this Oblak is that if you compare him to a bunch of previous versions of him, the booster is what makes the difference. So you look at his previous Player of the Week, it looks slightly better. The core goalkeeping attributes slightly better before you put a boost on this one, but then you put the boost on this one when he gets A form, this one becomes better. And you look at the previous trainable ones. Two previous trainable ones, Atletico Madrid cards, not sure what packs they're in. It looked like they're maybe in club packs from quite a while ago. They're slightly higher rated before you apply the boost to this one, but to be honest, that's mainly because they're trainable cards, so they've not had their jumping nerfed like the way these Player of the Week goalkeeper cards always do. So if you can discount that and look at the core goalkeeping attributes, this one is actually slightly better before the boost compared to those two trainable ones. Then you apply the boost, there's no contest, it's clearly better. There was a version of Oblak that was in a legend box, I think, or Showtime. That one actually is definitely better before you apply the boost to this one, but when you apply the boost to this one, not so much. This is a good version of Oblak. There's one other version of him, and I think most people will be looking at that one as well in comparison, because it's the one from the penalty game, which most of us are gonna be getting, I guess. That one, it's another one where overall it's pretty similar before the boost, but when you apply the boost, this is the one. This is a good one. So it's comparable certainly with the one in the kind of Legend or Showtime box, but it's got the edge over the other previous versions of Oblak with that A form boost. This is a good goalkeeper card. Before your game plan boost, you're in the 90s for awareness, for catching as well. It's not often get a goalkeeper in Player of the Week with 92 catching before your game plan boost. Parrying at 87, it's great. Reflex is 93. Reach is the only one that's not that great. You know, 6'2", 85 reach. He's not going to be lacking particularly with reach, but I would still want it to be a bit higher, to be honest. That's probably the one thing I would kind of hope to be a bit higher. But on the whole, really good goalkeeping attributes. Got unwavering form, of course, Oblak. And one other change they've made, they've given him through passing. I didn't see the game. It was, I think, against PSG, and as far as I was aware, he just made loads of good saves, but apparently he played a really good through pass as well. So yeah, you've got through passing on a goalie, which is unusual. And then you've got his other usual skills, high punt, long throw, penalty save, a captaincy. Would be nice if you could put skill trains on his cards, give him low punt, but you can't have it all. Through passing is certainly a bit different to the other versions of Oblak and most other goalkeepers. And yeah, on the whole, especially on A-form, even if you don't have the boost, it's a solid goalkeeper. But with A-form, this is a very good goalkeeper card, and it's very, very good compared to most other previous versions of this guy. So yeah, it's a very good goalkeeper card, this, very nice. And now we have Min-Jae from Bayern. And Kim, as he always seems to be when he gets a Player of the Week card, build up. It seems to be a recurring thing now with Kim. So he's usually a destroyer. That's always his playstyle when it's a trainable version of his GP card. But anytime he gets Player of the Week, he becomes a build up. So yeah, two previous Player of the Weeks, both build up. One from when he was at Napoli was not particularly a great card at all, to be honest. But the other one was when he was at Bayern. I think it was last season. Pretty similar to this one, to be honest. Not a great difference overall. We've had quite a few trainable versions of Kim. One thing I've mentioned in the past, that some of the previous trainable versions of Kim don't have man marking. He does have that nowadays. That's one thing to keep in mind. But the best trainable versions of Kim are slightly better than this one. So if you've got a trainable version of Kim, you might find it is slightly better than this card. But maybe the playing style could sway you. I don't know. I prefer build up to destroy. That's personal preference. I'm not saying it's better, just I prefer it. What have they changed? So compared to his GP card and auto allocation, we've lost a few points off aggression and defensive engagement. Pretty annoying that, and heading as well actually. He's lost a few points off his heading, strange. But wherever he had a bit of a boost, he had a bit of a boost on acceleration, on stamina. Again, they seem to always do it at centre-backs in Player of the Week. His passing has had a really nice boost actually. That's interesting. He's not the best, usually not the best technically, still not great on the ball, but they have given him a bit of a boost on his passing. That's quite interesting, that. Skill-wise, what we got? So speaking of passing, this is all they've done. One-touch pass and weighted pass. So basically, they've not done a lot defensively with this guy, but they just suddenly decided he can pass the ball, which is good. Can't complain. So one-touch pass and weighted pass, they've boosted his low and lofted passing stats as well. So you got a version of him that can pass now, and he's a build-up. He's still strong defensively. It's annoying with the aggression and engagement going down a little bit. They're going to get up to the mid-high 80s, not quite hit the 90 mark. Awareness and tackling will hit 90 with a maximum game plan boost. Very decent pace for a centre-back. Jumping 85, 6'3". He's got aerial superiority, so he'll be decent in the air. Physical contact's going past 90 with your game plan boost, so he's a big, strong boy, which is great. Stamina boost as well, which is nice. Unwavering form. Those two passing skills added alongside low lofted pass is great. And then defensively, which is where it's most important for a centre-back, of course, we've got man marking, interception, blocker. We've got aerial superiority, starting tackle, acrobatic clearance, fighting spirit. He's not got heading, which is a bit of a shame. But his heading's 85. I don't think that's going to be a big problem. I think on the whole... Oh, in fact, I've just spotted one thing. 62 kicking power. Yikes. That is a concern. So, big improvement to his passing, but you're going to have to still be careful with his passing, because with that low kicking power, you don't want to be under-hitting your passes. You don't want to mess your passes up in front of your goal. So, that's one weakness with this guy. That's probably the one weakness he's got, if I'm honest. He's not great on the ball as he always is. So, there's that as well. But kicking power is really dodgy at 62. But outside of that, he's pretty much strong across the board, really. No glaring weakness. He's strong. If you prefer the build-up playing style to destroy, as I do, then it might be quite appealing to you, this card. It's appealing to me. And yeah, on the whole, it's a good version of Kim, and the upgrade on his passing is very nice. But yeah, just keep an eye on that kicking bar being low, and obviously with the balance and his on-the-ball attributes, he's not going to be the most comfortable on the ball, but plenty of strengths there. I think it's a pretty interesting version of Kim on the whole. And now we have a very interesting version of Jules Koundé. So, normally a defensive fullback. He's had a few playing styles, so he's been an extra frontman in the past. I think it's quite recent they changed him to a right back and defensive fullback, because he's been playing there mainly for Barcelona for a while now. But this version of Koundé is an attacking fullback. So, Koundé, we've had a bunch of previous Player of the Week versions of him. This one's pretty comparable even at centre-back to previous Player of the Week cards of Koundé. And it's pretty similar to the best right back, to be honest, but when you apply the booster, because this is another booster, this is our third booster in this pack, this is the best right back out of all the Player of the Week versions of Koundé, arguably all the versions we've had. It's a good right back card, this. If you look at the trainable versions of Koundé, mostly centre back, and obviously on that basis they're all better to be when they're trained as centre back, and not so great as a right back as this one. So if you look at him as a right back, certainly this is comparable, or is better than the previous trainable versions. But there is one recent trainable Koundé that was the free one we got, which is a defensive fullback, not an attacking fullback. I've trained mine as a centre-back because I don't like the extra frontman playing style. So it's nice for me to have a centre-back version of Koundé. It's not going to go wandering forward. But if you do train that guy and use it as a defensive fullback, without the boost, it's comparable, to be honest. That free Koundé defensive fullback on the whole, pretty comparable. The boost does make this one better, but it's different playing styles, obviously. If you look at the GP card of Koundé and you train that up on auto allocation to the maximum, it's not a million miles away, to be honest. It's mainly the passing and the physical contact as well. The big difference between this one and his GP card, really. So not a million miles away in most areas, but this is better on the whole. And like I say, I think this is probably just about as good as a right back version of Koundé as we've had. But the playstyle could be key for you. If you prefer a defensive fullback, then you might not like that, but you can of course put the defensive instruction on him. If that's your kind of fullback, and if you do put a defensive on him as a defensive fullback, he could be really good. So he's got very decent pace, especially on A form. Without A form, I guess you could argue he's not the quickest. Maybe you'd want certainly a bit more acceleration, but with A form, that speed's going past 90 with a maximum game plan boost. Got good jumping and physical. He's going to have aerial. We'll check his skills in a second. Balance not the best. I think we can allow that though. Stamina great. Defensive attributes for a fullback very strong. On the ball, he's fine for a fullback just about. The low and lofted pass though very good for a fullback. That lofted pass at 86 when he's got A form. So let's check out the skills, because as you're going to see, he's got pinpoint crossing, so he's going to have a good cross on him as well. But in terms of the rest of his skills, we've lost soul control, we've lost acrobatic clearance, but we've gained one touch pass, through passing, and as I mentioned, pinpoint crossing. So I think on the whole, we've got a very good selection of skills now for an attacking right back. We've got the heading and aerial superiority, so he's going to be good in the air for a fullback, the passing and the crossing, and then the other defensive skills, man marking, interception, blocker, slide and tackle, fighting spirit. On the whole, we've got a really good, strong selection of skills for an attacking right back. I would like a bit more acceleration and balance, but when you consider how many strengths he's got, how good he is on the whole, I think this is a really good right back card. Like I said, if you put the defensive instruction on him, bearing in mind how defensively strong he is, how physically strong he is, aerial as well, if you use him as a defensive right back, could be fantastic. But as an attacking right back, I think he's pretty good. I think he's a good card. The passing and crossing can be really good. They stand out, as well as him being very strong defensively. That defensive awareness going past 90 with the game plan boost on a fullback, that's really good. So yeah, one of the attributes would like to be a bit higher, but that's nitpicking really. This is a good solid right back card. It's one that, if you like Koundé as a right back, this is about as good a card of his as you could probably have got so far in the game. So yeah, it's a good card, and like I say, there's two different ways you can use him as a right back, attacking or defensive. You could use him as a centre back still, but I think bearing in mind we've had a free version of him that's better as a centre back, and as I say, the previous trainable versions there are a centre back primarily, they are better trained as a centre back than this one. You could certainly get away with him as a centre back, but as a right back is where he's best, clearly, and I think it's a very good card when you use him there. And of course he's had his face scan updated for whatever reason, so he's got new hair. Lovely jubbly. Yeah, good card. And finally, we have Rafael Leão, and we have a creative playmaker Rafael Leão. So another card where we've had previous Player of the Week versions of him. So previous Player of the Week cards from Leão, they seem to all be whole players or prolific wingers. Now we've got a creative playmaker version. The previous Player of the Week cards, they tend to be a bit quicker. I think he's lost a bit off his acceleration. But yeah, bit quicker than the previous Player of the Week cards. Overall, pretty similar level, really, to be honest. This one's not really standing out, to be honest. It's not, doesn't look as much better than any of the previous ones. I think the playing style might be the deal, either the deal maker or the deal breaker for most people. For me personally, I've said it before, I do not like that playing style on a wide man. I want my wingers to be bursting forward, getting into good spaces. A playmaker is more inclined to hang back and to kind of wait for you to give him the ball so that he can do the playmaking. It's not the way I like it, but if you do like a playmaker out wide, good for you, because this could be a really nice card for you. He's got centre forward as a position, but awareness is, I don't think, is high enough. Certainly the finishing isn't. This is very much a player we're looking at as a left winger, and both left midfield and left wing forward. He will have creative playmaker as an active playing style. He might not be as quick as some previous versions, but he's still quick. Good physical contact for a winger. It's had a bit of a boost, I think. Yeah, it's had a significant boost, as has his passing. Up to 80 on low pass, which is nice. I assume he's still got through passing. Where are we? Yeah, got through passing. They've added crossing. Nice. So he's gained pinpoint crossing, so if you ever cut inside, put a cross in. I mean, his crossing is not going to be brilliant, but it'll be better with pinpoint crossing. 77 lofted pass is not too great. We've lost flip-flap, though, so I imagine the dribblers might be pretty unhappy about that, because he's got double touch and soul control. You take flip-flap out of the equation, he's no longer got the ball roll double touch. So yeah, for the dribblers, that could be pretty disappointing. Still got a few skill moves, though. We've got long range curler, very important skill to have for an inverted winger coming off the left flank. Rising shot, if you like that sort of thing. Heel trick's a nice one. And as I mentioned, through passing and pinpoint crossing. So pretty decent passing for a Rafael Leão card. We've had a couple of legend versions of Leão that are pretty much the best versions of him, obviously. It's not on that level, this card. It's pretty much on the level as the better trainable versions of him outside of those legend ones. I'm not sure we've had a Showtime one. That would be up there with the best as well. But outside of the special ones, the legends, this is pretty much on the same kind of level as most previous trainable versions of Leão, but slightly higher and slightly in some areas, slightly lower in others. Mainly the advantage this one tends to have over previous versions is the passing and the physical contact, which have had the biggest boost from his GP card, and he's a little bit slower. But on the whole, it all kind of evens out, and he's pretty much the same level as most of the better versions of him that have been trainable ones. In terms of the rest of his attributes, what they've changed from his GP card, just noticing the dribbling down slightly, ball control and time possession up slightly. So yeah, unwavering form, I don't know about that. He's inconsistent. If any player's inconsistent, I think he is. So, but yeah, for a card in eFootball, that's great. Unwavering form. Yeah, I don't know. I'm finding it hard to get excited about this card. This play style, being creative playmaker, that's personal preference. I'm not saying that's bad, but it's personal preference. I don't like that play style on a winger. He doesn't really stand out compared to previous versions, but it is a good version of him. He does have his passing boosted a bit, which is good. Bit more physical strength than normal. I would like a bit more balance. I think on the whole, it's just a good version of Leão, but it's not an amazing one. It's not one that really stands out to me. I don't see anything about this card that makes me think that I want it over any other previous version, to be honest. I've had a couple of versions of him. I had one from a Milan pack. I picked up the first legend card of his, which, as I mentioned, is better than this, so I have no need for this card. But I think if you've got a previous player of the week card of Leão, or one of the better trainable ones, it's questionable whether you prefer this one. I think the playing style might put some people off, although some people might have been waiting for a creative playmaker version of him, in which case this could be a fantastic version of him to pick up. I think for some people it could well be great on that basis. For other people, maybe not so much. Like I say, based on the attributes, 1 or 2 boosts where he's better than the previous ones, but the pace is down a bit compared to a lot of versions. So yeah, there are different reasons why you might particularly like this card of Leão's and why you might not. So for some people, it might be disappointing. For other people, it could be a very nice card. It just depends on what suits you, really. But I don't think it's anything too exciting. I think it's just a good Leão card with an interesting change of playing style. So there is your Champions League Player of the Week pack. I certainly think that's better than the regular Player of the Week pack. I think that pretty much goes without saying. I think that Leão card's a good one. It won't suit everyone, but if it does suit you, I think that's a very good card. Koundé, I think it's a very good right-back card. Whether you use him as an orthodox attacking right-back, or if you put defensive on him and use him as a defensive fullback, I think both ways, very good, strong right-back. That Kim card as a build-up, I think is a pretty good, strong card. A nice version of Kim. Oblak is a very strong goalkeeper card, as you would expect. And I think Díaz looks like a really, really nice centre-forward goal poacher. I think those 5 cards for me are all very good cards. Beyond those 5, I think you've got a bunch of cards where, you know, I think Gyökeres and Vanaken and probably Djimsiti for me, those 3 are all right. I don't think they're great cards, but certainly in the right hands, if you play into their strengths, could be decent ones. Vanaken certainly a bit different, a very big, tall guy in the attacking midfield position. Gyökeres, I think a lot of people are waiting for that card. It's not a bad card at all. It's just not quite as good as I think a lot of people would have hoped it would be. Bisseck, not too far off Djimsiti, to be honest, very similar. Big, tall guy. He's not a bad centre-back card. Both these centre-back cards are kind of just all right, you know, fairly solid all around. Tillman, for me, I don't think he offers a great deal. It's not a great card. And Kühn, not the strongest. He's certainly got some quality. Could score goals for you off that right wing, but I don't think it's an amazing card. So, yeah, on the whole, 1 or 2, not so sure. A few kind of okay, but I think you've got 5 cards in there at least that are very nice cards. So, on the whole, it's one of the better Player of the Week packs I think we've had in a while. Certainly better than the regular Player of the Week pack. It's a bit of a shame we've not got a free spin, because I'm half tempted by this one, but I'm probably going to save my coins for when they finally release that Fiorentina pack. Unless they split the Fiorentina players between different packs, which they'll probably do just to torture me. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good pack on the whole. So there you go. Hopefully you found this video useful. Let me know what you think of the pack. Have you spun the pack? Who you're spinning for? Who have you spun? Let me know. Thank you for watching as always. I do appreciate it. I might well do a review of that new Japan pack. So keep your eyes out for that. Other than that, jump into the Discord. I'll be active in there. I might do a stream at some point. Depends how time goes. But otherwise, yeah. I'll be seeing you soon one way or another. So cheers for watching. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.